Although it has taken millennia, the time has come. For innumerable centuries, this ancient Egyptian sarcophagus has been hidden, but it is about to be revealed once more. An expert group has been looking into the Acropolis near Cairo, and their efforts are about to pay off. This finding will truly be groundbreaking, and everything starts with a single archaeologist disappearing into the shadows. Hit that subscribe button and become a part of our community of like-minded individuals who love the History Collective. Let's get started. These experts have described the sarcophagus as a sight to behold. It's embellished with lines and shapes scratched all around its surfaces. It's clear that whoever was laid to rest here was very important. Not simply anyone gets an entombment as intricate as this one. All things considered, this find is the very most recent disclosure in a more extensive archaeological examination that has been occurring of late. It was found stowed away inside a burial chamber, which itself was just found about a year recently situated in a spot called Saqqara. Cairo is in the Acropolis, which is really just a cemetery in Giza with a lot of big and complicated tombs. The walls of this chamber are covered in intricate murals, making it an intriguing space. It was once a piece of Memphis, which used to be the capital of Old Egypt. Due to the incredible graves and monuments that have been discovered there, Saqqara has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of many that archaeologists recently discovered at Saqqara is this particular tomb. Like a number of others, this one has a grand entrance made of stone depicting the lives of its inhabitants. The first of the two rooms inside is fairly plain. However, the second is significantly more ornate and extravagant. One more striking component of the burial place is a progression of stone blocks, which are remembered to have once upheld portions of the roof and a few walls. However, these structures have crumbled as a result of time's wear and tear. Nevertheless, a painting depicting people giving gifts hangs on one intact wall. A young cow being killed is one of the scene's more horrifying details. A number of Assyrian columns and blocks with etchings on their surfaces have also been discovered. The Egyptian god of the deceased, Osiris, was specifically mentioned in these significant stone structures. Envisioned as a connection between the sky and the earth, they were considered by the design's manufacturers to be a method for giving an extension between the living scene and existence in the wake of death. This archaeological investigation was led by Dr. Ola Ghazi, who has discussed the significance of the Assyrian columns with the media. The expert, a leading expert in her field at Cairo University, explained that Syrian columns are a symbol of the ancient Egyptian belief that they would grow to reach the heavens and connect the god of the heavens with Osiris, the god of the underworld, through this Ra. The contents of the tomb date back to Ramses II, who reigned as Egypt's pharaoh in the 13th century BCE. He had the second longest and most successful reign of any pharaoh, with his 10 years marking the peak of the new kingdom. During his time in office, there was a construction boom that included the rapid construction of cities and monuments. For the 60 or so years he sat on the privileged position, Egypt extended extraordinarily. During the war, he was in charge of securing some significant victories and securing his place as one of ancient Egypt's most significant figures in history. The tomb that archaeologists recently discovered was connected to Ramses, but not directly. It did not actually belong to the leader, but rather to someone in his inner circle. This person was Todd and Yaa, both of whom appear to have held significant positions within Ramses. His position as head treasurer was perhaps the most significant aspect of his government. Addressing news site, the public Dr. Al-Ghazi considered the significance of the find. She stated, "The fact that a number of very important military leaders, statesmen, and aristocrats were buried there, the majority of whom date back to the reign of Ramses II right from the start. This discovery had been tantalizing for everyone involved, is what makes this tomb unique." However, Dr. Al-Ghazi and her co-workers didn't rest on their laurels because they were confident that much more was to come. When they found the tomb, they chose to investigate the chamber to check whether it had any extra mysteries. Also sufficiently certain, it was well before the group had tracked down something. He is delighted to learn that they are, in fact, Egyptian. I'd always find it pleasing to see Egyptian archaeologists making these discoveries, as he stated. Dr. Derman Uelian proceeded to make sense of what he was getting at with that remark about the significance of the group being from Egypt. According to him, Western archaeologists have done this work for a long time. So it's great to see their own discoveries, and it's even better that she is an Egyptian woman archaeologist, and a woman archaeologist. Compliments for Dr. Lagazi. Additionally, her team has been arriving from other locations. Tom Cook was on the archaeological site while they were working, shooting a narrative for station Public Geographic. Given his vicinity to the group, seeing their stir very close. He certainly has some understanding into how they get things done. Cook addressed the gatekeeper about Dr. Lagazi, describing her discovery individually as fantastic. He noted that she is a grandmother, is in her 70s, and continues to perform this extremely risky job. That is an extremely impressive feat, and Cook seems keen that others pay attention to it. Agazi, doctor, she didn't know if her work would pay off. But she did it anyway because, as Cook said, these tombs were raided so frequently that there was no guarantee that anything interesting would be there. So it was just when they arrived at that last chamber that they understood something astounding truly was there. The so-called Dr. Alag Az's dream discovery aims to illuminate a pivotal period in ancient Egypt's history. And it's possible that she will uncover additional artifacts that shed light on what else might be beneath the surface, including ACARA, which is just waiting to be discovered. However, the archaeologists tiptoe through the opening of a massive structure hidden in the sands a few miles from his one, which still contains extraordinary treasures. As the explorers move deeper inside, they come across an amazing sight as light flickers against walls that are covered in ancient ash from fires that have long since been put out. The structure had not been explored before and was a perfect target for the Egyptian-Italian mission in West Aswan and Malwa. The multinational team collaborated to uncover the building's secrets. This tomb holds secrets that have been hidden for millennia. Incredibly, they found a burial chamber that held totally new and unforeseen finds. As the tomb was discovered by archaeologists, they were immediately taken aback by its size. The ancient Greeks and Romans used the burial ground that is now marked at GH032. The graveyard had been pillaged even back then. However, the scientists quickly discovered that these robbers had not stolen everything of value and interest. There was a sense of urgency when the Amala project started in 2018. Their date was provoked by doubts that current grave looters were working. It was imagined that hoodlums had started to burrow into these remnants nearby Aswan. On the Nile River, near its first set of rapids, is the bustling city that serves as a tourist hub in southern Egypt. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities decided that starting its own excavations was the best way to stop illegal digging. It did as such close by archaeologists from the College of Milan. Together, they are able to investigate the nearby necropolis and keep an eye on it. Since the beginning in 2018, Italy and Egypt have worked together on the joint mission to the west of Aswan. The university has provided the majority of the program's funding, and the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has also provided financial support in the form of both official recognition and hard cash. The project has focused on the Aga Khan mausoleum, which is the closest and most interesting of the catacombs grounds. The identity of those who had been buried in the tomb was discovered by the archaeologists. According to a local tradesman named Dr. Piazza Antini, it was Jet's burial site, as revealed by hieroglyphics, as reported by The Guardian in the UK, because we added something that had been missing from the Swan's history. This is a very significant discovery. We were aware of tombs and necropolio that date back to the 2nd and 3rd millennia, but we were unaware of the locations of the people who lived during the final phase of the pharaoh's reign. The academic went on to say that Aswan was a very important trading hub in its day in 2021. The mission increased its efforts and made a significant janus that resulted in a novel discovery. The results of 5 months of excavation, according to Dr. P.S. Antini and her counterpart from the Directorate of Antiquities of Aswan and Nubia of Delmanaing, were revealed to be a tomb that appeared to house members of one family. What was extraordinary about this burial place was that the group found it inside a structure that sits over the ground. The necropolis typically contains tombs that are either buried beneath the sand or carved into the hills of rock. The design that this one sits in had a specific reason the archaeologists accept it was a setting for penance. Dr. P.S. Antini made sense of for the existent science site. This structure appears to have served as a sacred enclosure for offering sacrifices to the god known as Ares, creator god and protector of the fertile floods of the Nile, especially revered in Aswan. No god could have been better suited to propitiate the eternal lives of those who had passed away in this necropolis than Ares. The god Khnum was a figure of love for around 3 centuries from the 2900s BCE until the initial not many hundreds of years promotion generally envisioned as either a slam or a smash-headed man. He was remembered to have made individuals since it was accepted he rejuvenated individuals utilizing mud. Portrayals of him with a potter's wheel were typical. At her work, which is close to Al Ashman in central Egypt, the columns that were first called grew. Yet, from the 1500s BC, he began to be related with Monstrous, an island close to Aswan. It makes perfect sense that the locals would have offered sacrifices to this powerful deity because he was quickly regarded as the lord of the first cataract. also known as the nearby Nile Rapids. While Dr. Piacentini accepted that the scorching could also have been caused by grave robbers, there were also altars of animal bones and the remains of plants found inside, making it more likely that the structure was used for sacrifice. Fire marks on the building's walls may have been the result of offerings-related ceremonies. As a matter of fact, the burial place, which has remained in great shape, notwithstanding its extraordinary age, has enormous sums garbage from expect penances. The bones are for the most part from rams. The creatures firmly connected with Kham and littered among them are shards of earthenware and plates that are covered with hieroglyphics. It is the first sacrificial temple discovered anywhere on Mausoleum's property. The burial place, currently named at GH032, traces all the way back to the primary long stretches of Greek impact nearby. And keeping in mind that thieves had struck back in ancient history, they didn't take everything. About 20 mummies remained inside. One body saw as close to the sepulture's eastern wall had a neckband close to him that bore the name Scratch Estrada was. It was speculated that grave robbers likely dragged his body out of the tomb. A staircase is required to enter the tomb. Steps with carefully sculpted blocks flank it, and similar stones seal off the tomb's entrance at the bottom. Close to the gateway one sat a major base which was utilized for making contributions. The fruit sycamore figs that had been offered to the gods inside the tomb for rooms for burial flank as central space are still present, despite its disintegration. Click that subscribe button to get notified every time we release a new discovery. You don't want to miss the latest and greatest The History Collective content. Thanks for watching.